Another duly noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into another duly noted podcast, as always presented by the great people over at Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Coach Spurrier will be in here tomorrow. As far as Friday's show goes, I've got a bunch of, I'm like one of those guys that's out in the ocean. He's got a bunch of different baits cast out, waiting for somebody to bite. First person that bites gets in. We got a lot of opportunities. We'll see who it is. Great weekend. I'm still trying to get things. You know, there's a great George Carlin segment where he talks about how you have your stuff. And when I go on a vacation, even though it was only 3 or 4 days, it was kind of 3, it was kind of 4. Anyway, I bring all my stuff because I need all the stuff to help me sleep and everything. I'm still trying to put the last of it away, but it was such a great. And the other thing is, after that Saturday, we played in the Sarah birthday tournament, which was, is there a way that you can open up somebody and take out their liver and like hang it on a clothesline for a couple of weeks and then put it back in and it'll get it all scrubbed out?
That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
It would be acceptable to me right now. I need to, and of course, what do I get right here? They give me a Head Beer Coach 1966 beer, which is now available in cans. So, and I still will drink it. But it was just a fun weekend for all of us. All right, it is time for us to go to the Hand Law starting lineup, as we do to start off every show. Appreciate Hand Law for being involved in this. Number one is obviously the big story right now for Florida. Let me read the starting lineup thing. The starting lineup is presented by Hand Law, a Florida law firm which helps clients with government. In fact, one of our regular listeners called Chris Hand the other day. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website at www.hand.law. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville. We appreciate Chris Hand so much. Hopefully he got some business out of that. Number one is a story in Florida camp really right now is backup quarterback with Jack Miller being out. And now it looks like Kurt Angle could win the job, or it could still be Jalen Kitna. Kurt Angle's a walk-on from St. Thomas Aquinas. I don't think many of us knew much about him or knew that he existed. It is an interesting story. Florida's had some other injuries. And this is a new word now, by the way, apparently under this staff. He had a procedure. Well, procedure can mean a lot of things. I mean, some people go in and get sex changes and they have a procedure. Sometimes you just get your meniscus tweaked. You just got to kind of repair it. So you don't really have any idea, but I do at least appreciate Billy Napier's honesty in telling us when guys are and aren't hurt. Of course, we don't know. We don't know whether they are or not, but we assume they are. The good news for Florida, and I hate to say that, you're never supposed to say there's good news or there's only bad news coming from fall camp. I can never say it. The reason I can't say it is because it's not fall. It's hotter than you know what. So was it Ricky Pearsall and Jason Marshall supposed to be back at practice? So that's good news on that front. Ethan White is out. I think he's got to have a procedure too. Who knows? I don't know what it is. It used to be they just say he has a lower extremity injury. Well, you never knew what that was. And the other news was that the kickers, Trey Smack, who sounds like a character from Curb Your Enthusiasm, but Trey Smack and Adam Mahalik, who had a big kick in the spring game, still very even in that battle. So we'll see what happens there. That's the news out of there. A little bit of news out of Utah. Of course, Florida's first opponent, Muhammad Diabate. Talked a lot about going back to Gainesville. Had very nice things to say, but he said, this is a great quote. He said, it's like going to my ex-wife's house. I can see how he feels that way. And again, that's what it's going to be for Mike White when he comes back here with Georgia. Same kind of way. But, I got along with my ex-wife, and I did go to her house occasionally. Number 3, and just staying with the Mike White theory, or string that we're talking about. Theory. What was theory? Where did that word come from? I have no idea. Keontae Johnson is going to go to Kansas State. This is no surprise. We all knew that was one of the schools he was looking at. From everything I've been told, well, Florida wasn't going to let him play. He has been cleared. I think there was a deal where he went to Texas Tech, and he was going to go there, but last minute somebody said, I just don't feel comfortable with this. And I don't either. I don't want to, I was thinking about this. Do you want to watch Kansas State play and watch Keontae and see him in all his glory as a great basketball player who we love very much here? But aren't you going to be holding your breath the whole time? I don't know. When something like that happens, and again, a lot of us who live through Hank Gathers, know exactly what can happen. I know he's been cleared, but I don't want to see him play. I wish he would just take the money and go. But again, it's his life, not mine. I always say that about that. All right, number 4, the Utah game is sold out. Tickets are available. Wait a minute. Can you have both those things going? Can you be sold out and there are tickets? No. I'm going to go with, how about no? Well, you can get tickets only if you buy them in a season ticket package. So you can get tickets that way. But the good news is sold out. And look, it's going to be an unbelievable environment for that game. There's no doubt about it. It is just going to be electric. And again, this is not something we usually see. We don't see Utah coming here. I know they've been here once, 1977. Probably next week I'll talk a little bit about that game. I think I might have been there for, but I don't really remember it very well. I saw a great tweet from my friend Tony up in Jacksonville. This is the longest 2 weeks followed by the shortest 4 months of the year. Longest 2 weeks because you're waiting to see the Gators play, and then the shortest 4 months because seasons fly by. And I've talked about this a million times. Seasons just fly by. One day it's Saturday, and the next day it's the other Saturday, and then the next day it's the next one. It's just crazy how it flies by. But so anyway, the Utah game is sold out, and that's what Florida wants. They want it to be loud and hot and make Utah uncomfortable. And look, that's what your goal is as a defense all the time, is to make the other team uncomfortable. In this case, especially for Florida, you really need to make them feel uncomfortable because of. Not just because of what the heat is, because, again, I've said this a million times. If you're counting on the humidity winning the game, you're not going to win the game. The humidity may help you a little bit, especially in the fourth quarter. But you got to win the game on the field with plays you make, plays you call, things you do. People have asked me what I expect from this team, and I don't know, a ton, but I kind of know. I think it's going to be a slug it out, slobber knocker game between these two teams. I think both are going to try to be balanced. But anyway, that's next week. We've got games we can actually talk about this week, and we will a little bit, especially on Friday. And on Friday, we will do our some semblance of picks. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do it. Number 5 on our hand law starting lineup. We appreciate hand law, of course. Jerry Palm came out with the toughest and weakest schedules for non-cons. That's what I call them. I'm kind of hip. The non-cons. Non-conference games is what I'm talking about. And Florida, of course, the number 1 toughest in the SEC. Actually, and then Kentucky was the weakest. Kentucky does not play much. And that's the thing I think about a lot. By the way, nobody from the Big Ten was in the rankings. They don't play anybody. The ACC, Georgia Tech had one of the toughest. They played Georgia at UCF and Ole Miss. I don't know about that. I know Florida's going to play there, but they're getting at least a 2-for-1. I don't know if Georgia Tech got one or not. I think it may be near the end for our friend Jeff Collins. But, there is no doubt that you've got to look at schedules when you're talking about teams. When you're deciding, okay, what's the over-under on this team? It's 7. Okay, well, let's go see who they play. They may be 7 or 8 or 9 in talent, but they look who they play. See who they play. That's, I think, why you see so many people down on Florida. It's not, and it's a combination of what they have coming back. Like we've said, and Billy Napier was very eloquent about it this weekend. Anthony Richardson, they want to put a crown on his head, and he hadn't done anything. 33 completions. We've talked about that before. That's all he's got in his career. And now you have no experience at the backup. So, I mean, there are reasons. There are holes. And sometimes you kind of go, well, I think there's guys that are going to turn out to be really good. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I mean, we just don't know. But when you look at the schedule, you want to know why Florida's not ranked. It's because of their schedule. Whereas other teams, you look at them and you go, wow. Like, see, my thing is Georgia is a weird dynamic for me because I go back and forth on a lot of teams. This league is kind of, and again, we think too much. You know, I did that thing about all the seasons we have in Florida, all the seasons we have in Gainesville. We have 12 different seasons in Gainesville, but all in the summer. And it goes from jibber-jabber season, talking season, recruiting season, Paul Feinbaum season. But there's definitely a season when we think too much and we overanalyze things. And I think that's where we are right now. Like, I keep thinking about this game, and then I think about the season, I think about the next game, and next thing you know, I'm all a convoluted mix. So at 1 minute, I'm saying, how can anybody pick Florida to go 6-6? And then I'm going, I can see 6-6. Why don't you? Well, what if they won 10 games? What if guys play at a higher level? What if Anthony Richardson wins a Heisman? Okay, that's different. I just don't know, and I can't wait to find out. I can't wait to see. But when you are looking at a team and you're doing rankings, I believe you should look at who they play. Because if they don't play anybody, put them up higher in their rankings. And Georgia, that's why Georgia's kind of a weird team to me because they really don't have a hard schedule. It's pretty easy. But I just got a feeling they're going to feel the weight of carrying the crown for the first time in 40-something years. I just feel it's going to be there. Like, but then I go, well, who's going to beat them? Oregon? Oregon could have Bo Nix at quarterback. I could beat that team. Who's going to beat them? Florida? Well, we don't know where Florida's going to be at that point in the year. South Carolina, Kentucky, like Chris Storing said. Good luck with that. Anyway, all right. So those are the things we have today, and appreciate our great friends at Hand Law for the Hand Law starting lineup every Monday and Friday here on another Dooley Noted podcast. Presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We'll be back with Coach Steve Spurrier. We're going to add something today, the play of the weekend, which are with our new sponsors, Campus USA Credit Union, and we'll ask Coach what he thinks of the play when we come back on another Dooley Noted podcast. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from another Dooley Noted podcast. This is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Drip Co. To Go. What would give you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Tebow Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Fight Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Another duly noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
If you can smell the football coming this way, you know that one of the things that is a big part of any season is a membership in the Gainesville Quarterback Club. That includes both in-person meetings and Zoom experiences for out-of-town Gator fans. That gives you access to all the great speaker presentations, as well as tailgates and special occasions such as trips hosted by the Gator Nation's oldest Gator Club. Some of the speakers coming up include Scott Strickland, the athletic director at the University of Florida, David Cutcliffe, new Gator play-by-play man Sean Kelly, Dari Noka, Chris Doring, and Urban Meyer. Yeah, he's supposed to come. Email the club at membership@qbclub.org or call me and I'll get you to the right people. You'll be glad you did. Pat Dooley Story Time is brought to you by East Lake Pediatrics. Nobody knows how to provide pediatric health care for little Gators better than Dr. Mike and the other board-certified pediatricians and the pediatric nurse practitioners of East Lake Pediatrics. They have been providing personalized health care to the children of Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough counties since 2004. And with the recent addition of Dr. Chris, who is also board certified in sports medicine, they are now offering care for youth sports injuries as well. To learn more about East Lake Pediatrics, call 727-372-6760. And to get to know them better, listen to Dr. Mike and Dr. Carey on their Peds and Pop podcast on multiple platforms. All right, and welcome back to another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Coach Spurrier joins us, and of course, all of his appearances are sponsored by Meldon Law. They won't back down.
Meldon Law, they're the law firm of the Gators.
They are.
We appreciate being associated with the Meldon Law firm, and they do a super job.
So, and also, I got one of your beers here today. The head beer coach, 1966 beers made by First Magnitude.
First Magnitude.
Yeah,
we're in partnership with them, and that's the beer we sell here at the restaurant called 66 or HBC beer, we call it. And then the can at the stadium is going to be called Head Beer Coach for some reason. So, but it's a good tasting beer. People that like beer have really liked this.
I have tasted it. Just today
Good beer.
I've tasted it. Yeah, it's really good. All right, so we're at that point in the season where it is a game week for some people. Florida State has a game this weekend against Duquesne. Obviously, Northwestern Nebraska is the one game I think a lot of people are excited about, but I don't think it's going to be that great. But what as you get to that second to the last week when you're trying to install stuff, I think I saw where Napier is going to start worrying about Utah on Thursday. Is that about when you did it, Thursday before the first week?
Yeah, we would do about 10, 11 days before, just a little earlier preparation than normal, but not a whole bunch more. During the season, you got your usual bit, and sometimes you overcook. I remember Bobby Stoops, when I hired him, and I said, let's go play golf, a couple of days a week during the summer. I said, you guys didn't play out at K-State? He said, Coach, we were breaking down the tape film of all of our opponents. Then when the season started, we forgot about everything we wrote down and put the game plan in for what they were doing right then. And I said, well, that makes sense. But anyway, 1 week is plenty of time, and 10 days is also plenty of time.
Yeah, and I'm sure one of the things you do is try to figure out who you want to come talk to your team. I don't know if you had a guy in for every game. You usually didn't give the rah-rah speech before the game, did you?
Not big rah-rah, but I remember one year some guy, he was a motivational speaker, and he came by and he said, Coach, if you'd like to get your guys in the room there, I can give them a motivational speech. And I said, well, that's what I do. I'm the head coach. I'm supposed to give the motivational talk. But now, if there was a visiting coach, came by to watch practice, I know when I was with the Apollos, Bobby Stoops came by one day out in San Antonio. So I always say, come over and say a word to the team. And visiting coach, they'd give, 5-7 minutes and this, that, and the other. But, the head coach, in my opinion, has to be the guy that, all right, here's how we're going to do it, and here's the direction we need to go.
I think you brought Gene Ellenson in 91 FSU, right? Yep.
Coach Ellenson was our guy before the Georgia game.
Yeah.
And he did it each year before the Georgia game. Interestingly, when I got hired here, I immediately said, Coach, you got the Georgia game, okay? That's one we haven't done very well lately.
Yeah.
We'd lost 15 out of 20. And he said, I'll be ready. So we go to Jacksonville, and we go to the movie the night before, and we're coming back, and he was sitting on the bus with me. I said, Coach, they don't need a whole lot of rah-rah. He said, I can tell. He said,
really?
They won't remember a word I said. And he did. He held back because he knew our guys were ready to play.
Yeah.
And they didn't need a whole bunch. But also brought him up to Duke a couple of times. And he helped us a big win over the North Carolina Tar Heels my first year there. We'd lost like 3 games in a row by 1-2 points. And we beat the Tar Heels 25-10. And, of course, I gave Coach Ellenson the game ball.
Yep.
And he was good. And he was smart enough to know, about once every other year is what you need, a guy to give him something a little different and go from there.
Yeah, somebody told me a story about, because you used to have an assistant talk to the team sometimes during practice, after practice. And they were telling me that Jimmy Ray gave a great speech before the FSU on the final day before practice.
Jimmy Ray gave 2 great ones. The one before the FSU game when we beat FSU when they're number 1 in the country,
right.
1997, 25 years ago. The night before, he said, I want all you guys to call somebody that was influential in your life. Maybe your mother, maybe your grandfather, maybe your dad. Whoever you think really was influential and supportive and put you in the position you're in now, call them up and say, I'm going to try to win this ball game for you. And if we win this ball game tomorrow, we'll have a whole bunch of game balls, and you can give it to the person that's been influential in your life. So he did it FSU game, and then the 2000 SEC championship game against Auburn. We did it then, and that's when I called my wife on one of them, the FSU game, but I called my mom on the Auburn SEC championship game, and my mom had that game ball till she passed away.
Really?
Now I've got it. Yeah, so
Wow.
I'm keeping this one with me.
It's funny because 3 years later, in 2000, also in 2000, Billy Donovan had his team do that before they played, I think it was Duke, up in the NCAA tournament. He had them write their name of somebody important in their lives on their shoes. So there's all kinds of ways to motivate. I mean, but you also know when you need to motivate, when you, like you said, when you can just let them be there, they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's and Coach Ellenson was good about that. And of course, I remember before the Georgia game, some of the sports writers at press conference said, Coach, you're starting to get nervous about the Georgia game in Jacksonville. You guys struggle beating the Bulldogs in Jacksonville. They'd won 15 of the last 20. And I said, no, I'm not really worried at all. I said, we're number 1 in the SEC in total offense and number 2, I think, in total defense. They're like 9th in offense and 10th in defense, something like that. I said, if we can't beat these guys, we've played a lousy game. So we're concerned about playing the best we can. That's all we ever really tried to worry about.
40-something.
It was only 38-7.
38-7.
And
Yeah,
we threw away 4 touchdowns.
Really?
We were inside their 20. Shane fumbled on the 1-yard line. First and goal. Coach, I didn't get the snap. Well, it was the center. And I said, well, we just gave them 7, threw away 7 there. And then we were down there a couple other times. We messed up and got nothing. But anyway, it was a solid win, but it should have been better.
Why do you? I mean, I know why you wanted to beat Georgia. We all know the story when you in your senior year they beat you, and that kind of cost you everything in terms of the SEC. But why do you think you were so successful against Georgia? Why did you have that ability to beat them year after year? I mean, the 1 year they had a bunch of NFL guys in their team, and you guys struggled a little bit. That was the only year you lost.
92 was the only year that we weren't favored.
Yeah,
and that was a 26-24 game. Well, we look forward to playing the game. And obviously, the comments of their players prior to 1990 was that we got more character than the Gators. We'll fight them to the end. We got more want to. We want it more than they do, and all this. I mean, they challenged the character of our entire team. And anyway, they quit talking like that after 2 or 3 in a row, and then especially after 7 in a row, they gave us a little bit more respect. They called us loudmouth and run up the score type guys and no class. I like that a lot better than losers. They used to call us losers, but they had some different words after that.
I was telling the story about the Alabama game the other day. Alabama game in '98 out there, and you guys tried to give the game away the whole game. In fact, they had a guy running free. If he tripped over the yard line, or he would have scored, might have won the game. And after the game, you said your guys were playing like a bunch of losers. And the AP writer thought you said lizards, so he wrote it as lizards in the Associated Press.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that. We beat Alabama at their home ballpark, and we were ticked off because we didn't play very well. It was that 16-10 game.
Yeah,
we had about 450 yards of offense, but we got down there and had to kick field goals and this, that, and the other. And we missed a 4th and 1. It could have ended the game.
Right.
But we didn't make it, and they were sort of throwing at us down there, but we held them out. Yeah.
How? By the way, how excited are you about the Tour Championship this weekend coming up?
Yeah, it was a good tournament yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Patrick Cantley, that guy can putt and chip and hit the ball obviously very well. Should be interesting. You know, I was watching it yesterday, and I said, I wonder how Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and all those guys that gave up the PGA Tour to, take the money from the Live group. I said, I wonder how they feel watching this. I know they got a lot more money than they would have had, but still, I just wonder if they miss the competition. Guys that love their sport, they love to beat the other guys, and they love the competition of it. And I just think a lot of those guys are missing that right now.
Well, and I think this is similar to this NIL stuff. So you end up going to a school, you may not even like the school, but they're giving you the most money, or they're going to give you the best contract. It may not be the school you want to go to, but you go there, and in the case of Quinn Ewers, who went to Ohio State, got $1 million, now he's at Texas, won the starting job there, but if he gets beat out, he'll go somewhere else and get more money there. It's a weird world we're living in right now.
Yeah, I guess you could do that, but I would think he hopes to stay and play. Yeah. But Manning, Arch Manning will be in there, is coming out next year. So he may transfer again. Who knows?
Yeah, Archie was like right after you, right? As a player.
Archie Manning?
Yeah.
No, he finished. Yeah, he finished in 70 or 71.
Yeah, right
70,
around there.
I think 70. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I'm sure you follow what he did. He was really good, but of course their teams weren't any good.
Ole Miss?
Yeah.
Well,
he was kind of like Pete Maravich.
they lost some close ones.
Yeah.
Remember the Alabama 1-point loss they had, where he had about 500 yards of total offense, something like that. So, yeah, sometimes you lose 1 or 2 close ones, and you don't have much of a year.
last thing is, how much does practice change for you when you get this closer to the season? Does it accelerate, or does it just you just kind of stay with the same even keel?
You do pretty much similar as far as conditioning and all that. Of course, obviously the game plan, and then I think we quit running after practice on Thursday.
Really?
Thursday's a lot of special team and a lot of team against the scout team, stuff like that. And then Friday's pretty much a rest day. We run around, break a sweat, usually in the stadium, and then get ready for the game Saturday. Sometimes if it's a night game, we'll walk around the parking lot at the hotel.
Yep.
Walk through some plays. Things
Get the
like
blood
that.
circulating.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but other than that, it's a pretty consistent type travel all the time.
Do you miss that part of it? I mean, do you miss just getting ready and having a structure there?
Oh, I've always said I miss the game itself.
Yeah.
Getting our guys ready to play, try to beat the other guys, and the preparation part's fun too. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have a new sponsor, and it is Coach Spurrier is the spokesperson for Campus USA Credit Union, and we have our play of the weekend that we're going to do every weekend, and this time it comes from a high school game.
Okay.
I found this on the internet. This is a beauty. If we can show.
Let's go. Let's go.
That was a heck of a throw over his head.
That reminds me a little bit of the hidden ball play.
Yeah.
And that is the hidden pass play.
It is
Because
the
he had his
hidden-
back turned and just flipped it. I guarantee you nobody was reading his eyes or anything.
Well,
were they?
no, they weren't.
I like that play.
I remember.
There's some merit to that.
I remember when you had that one trick play that Bubba brought to you from Oklahoma, where the tight end fell down and then kind of dragged across, and Bubba told you it works every time, and he says, "Why don't you run it every play then?"
Yeah, those plays are good once a year, maybe.
Yeah, that's
stuff like that. But we had the hidden ball play.
Yep.
And I tell you, looking back, I wish I'd called it a lot more. It's a great play. You have like three guys in the backfield and the quarterback, and when he gets the snap, they all turn their back.
Yep.
Everybody's just blocking. And then when he says go, they all take off. And usually the fullback, he's got the ball in his belly, and he just turns around and creeps toward the line of scrimmage. We ran it against West Virginia in the Sugar Bowl of '93 when we were way ahead.
Was that Bilkey?
Bilkey.
Yep.
Bilkey went 12 yards.
Yeah.
He come roaring out of there. And if he hadn't shown the ball, if he'd just stayed like that, I think he'd gone 20. But he got nervous. He was out in the open and took off running. But, yeah, I wish I'd called that more because we were running practice all the time.
Yeah.
And, of course, our defense, they knew it was coming, but still they sometimes had trouble figuring out who had the ball.
I love a good trick play. There's
Yep.
no doubt about it. All right, Coach, we appreciate your time as always, brought to you by Meldon Law from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. So we'll be back with all of our fun stuff that we'll be doing coming up here on another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from another Dooley Noted podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What would give you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where, everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Fight Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Another duly noted podcast comes to you from the Coaches Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life. And the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
If you can smell the football coming this way, you know that one of the things that is a big part of any season is a membership in the Gainesville Quarterback Club. That includes both in-person meetings and Zoom experiences for out-of-town Gator fans. That gives you access to all the great speaker presentations, as well as tailgates and special occasions such as trips hosted by the Gator Nation's oldest Gator Club. Some of the speakers coming up include Scott Strickland, the athletic director at the University of Florida, David Cutcliffe, new Gator play-by-play man Sean Kelly, Dari Noka, Chris Doring, and Urban Meyer. Yeah, he's supposed to come. Email the club at membership@qbclub.org or call me and I'll get you to the right people. You'll be glad you did. Pat Dooley Story Time is brought to you by East Lake Pediatrics. Nobody knows how to provide pediatric health care for little Gators better than Dr. Mike and the other board-certified pediatricians and the pediatric nurse practitioners of East Lake Pediatrics. They have been providing personalized health care to the children of Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough counties since 2004. And with the recent addition of Dr. Chris, who is also board certified in sports medicine, they are now offering care for youth sports injuries as well. To learn more about East Lake Pediatrics, call 727-372-6760. And to get to know them better, listen to Dr. Mike and Dr. Carey on their Peds and Pop podcast on multiple platforms. All right, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And it's time for us to play that great game that we all love, Yes, No Way, or Maybe. Of course, it is brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks. Where street dining done right, you can get free French fries. You mentioned the podcast on there. And, of course, Robbie comes to us on the Big Mills Zoom line. He also comes to us sponsored, as all his segments are, by Hesser and Kipke. So we'll talk to Robbie Andrew about the Yes, No Ways, or Maybe. What's up, Robbie?
I do love this game, Pat. I do love this game.
You love this, too. I know that.
Yeah. How's it taste?
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's the new this is a beer they've been serving here, but they're going to now sell it in cans. So 1966 beer, head beer coach.
Is it light or a lager? What you got there?
Light, yeah, it's a little light. It's fine. I like it. You know me, I'm a 52-20 guy here at Spurs.
Yeah,
but
yeah, me too.
But you got to have this in your cooler, at least like a 6-pack, just to go, oh, here, what do I have here? Head beer coach.
That'd be a great tailgate beer. Tailgate beer, Pat.
It should be required at all tailgates, I think. All right, Robbie, today on our Big Mill Zoom line, you're going to do yes, no, where, maybe. And number one, here's a good one for
Maybe
you.
I will.
Anthony Richardson will have 10 carries in the opening game.
Yes. And, you saw the quote yesterday, Pat, from Billy Napier. He said they're going to use his legs. That's an important part of the offense, an important part of his game. So he's going to get at least 10 carries that are design runs for him, I think. I think they're going to really use him to keep defenses off balance. And when you can run like he can, you're that big, you got to take advantage of it. And, you can't worry about getting hurt, even though it would be devastating to Florida if he did. But you've got to go ahead and play the game and do what you have to do to win games. And using his legs is a big part of that.
You can get hurt planting your foot. We've seen that.
Exactly, yeah.
But
there are probably more non-contact jersey injuries out there than contact at times.
But you never know, Robbie, because it could be Napier's playing that game, where he knows and I know that he knows, and he knows that I know that she knows. Then maybe he doesn't know.
You sound like Craig Barnes.
No, or
you sound like Craig Barnes
or Ron Zook.
Yeah.
They thought we were going to do this, so we decided to do that. But then they realized we were going to do that, and we decided to do something different. All right.
Now, if you interview yourself, Pat, you could be Urban Meyer.
That's right.
Did we play well today? Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Yes. Will he run it 10 times? Yes, he will. I did tell on the Eastlake Pediatrics Pat Dooley story time the other day the story about Urban not wanting to get in the car for a charity thing going, I don't do funny, which we found out for 6 years. He doesn't do funny.
Yeah,
all right.
He doesn't.
Number 2 on Yes, No, Way, or Maybe, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks. Kyle Engel will play meaningful snaps this season. Kyle Engel is a great story, a walk-on who's been around here for a while, and all of a sudden he's in the competition for the number 2 quarterback with Jalen Kitna behind, of course, Anthony Richardson now that Jack Miller's out.
Yeah. Yeah, Pat, he is an interesting kid, and I would put a very shaky maybe by that, only because of the injury situation and where they're at right now. They're down to 2 healthy quarterbacks, and Kitna is coming off an injury as well. So, he's maybe a player or 2 away from actually having to go into a game. So I'll do a shaky maybe that Engel gets in a game this year at some point. Maybe when the game's on the line and not in mop-up duty.
Just think about this. He could end up being the starting quarterback because of injury or whatever, and he could still walk into a store and nobody know who he was.
I know, exactly.
Quarterback at the University of Florida. All right, Robbie, this isn't the big one for you, I know. This is number 3 on Yes, No, Where, Maybe. Duquesne scores on Saturday. Duquesne.
I'm going to say no way. I'm going to say no way, Pat. And I just looked on Twitter earlier, and they posted Duquesne's depth chart, and it looks like a high school team to me. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to score. And that FSU is going to gain nothing from this game, I think, other than a win and feel good about themselves going in against LSU. So they'd be better off scrimmaging this Saturday than playing Duquesne.
I was thinking about this today because they were showing a highlight of this, but I really think Florida's best highlight of the season from this last season was Jacksonville State beating FSU on that Hail Mary. That was the best play that happened for Florida. Other than that, nothing good happened for Florida.
Yeah, but that play never gets old, Pat.
No,
and
never.
What I love about it is one thing I love about it is the reaction of the cheerleaders in the end zone going like, what happened? What happened?
I love the DB who's covering his reaction was, hey, caught it. I don't need to tackle him, do I? Yeah, that was bad. All right.
It was.
We will let you go, Robbie. We appreciate your time, as always, on our Big Mills Yes, No, Way, or Maybe. And, of course, Robbie, brought to you by Hesser and Kipke.
Okay, Pat, I'll see you soon.
All right. That is Yes, No Way, or Maybe, which is something we love playing here on the Another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Log Gator Studios. Right now, we have to get to 3 things. Just 3. I have 3 things I need to talk about that are very important, sponsored by Hesser and Kipke. As always, we appreciate Hesser and Kipke, law firm based in Hale Plantation, specializing in employment, workers' comp, and family law. Visit their website at www.hklawfl.com or call Ken and Jennifer, or Ken or Jennifer, at 352-339-9920. We appreciate Hesser and Kipke. Also, they were the sponsor of Robbie's segment there. So Hesser and Kipke coming at you from both directions. Let's do three things. Number one, we talked a little bit about the Tour Championship, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about this weekend. You got college football games. You got pro exhibition games still, and the Tour Championship. But I still don't like the way they score this thing, where the better you are, and again, only 30 players playing it at East Lake. Billy Horschel's at 1 under par already. I hadn't even played a hole. But unfortunately for him, the leader is Scotty Scheffler, who is at 10 under and played a hole. I still don't like that. I don't know there's a better way. If you're going to make it cumulative, you can't do it cumulative and then all of a sudden it's, winner take all. It does kind of eliminate some people from it, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun. And I appreciate, I'm a big believer in the PGA Tour versus the LIV Tour. All right, number two, Tom Brady is back now. Everybody can put away their rumors. He was abducted by aliens. He was doing filming The Masked Singer, which, look, if The Masked Singer was filming Tom Brady, this was the dumbest thing. They probably filmed their next episode months and months ago. They wouldn't have been having him miss practice. I'm sure it had something to do with his family. If it didn't, everybody's got a theory, but he's back at practice, and everybody can relax. Although we didn't enjoy watching Kyle Trask play as much as he did. We appreciate it. And number three, we're seeing this all over the country. The one, and I always say there's never any good news out of camp, and there isn't. There's only bad news, but there is news out of camp. I don't know if it's good news or not. Some of the things that are happening all over the country. For example, this is another filed under the bad news. If you're an LSU fan, John Emery is suspended for the first 2 games. I think this is a continuation of academic problem that he had, and I don't know what the details are. I'm not going to speculate, but he's suspended for the first 2 games, and I think they have Miami in one of those first 2 games. Yeah? Is that the second game of the year? Tammy, you don't know that it's the second game of the year? I'm going to imprint the entire college football schedule on your forehead. You're going to know it completely. I'm going to tattoo it on there. All right, John Reese Plumlee is the quarterback at UCF. Didn't even know he was there. And, of course, we all saw him at Ole Miss, and a good baseball player as well. He's gone to UCF, and now he's going to be their starting quarterback. I would like – oh, no-go Knights. You can't say that after the last game they played. They beat Florida. But they did beat Florida. But here's the thing about that – and it's hard for me to say. That does seem to be about the level for him. And all I'm saying is there's a Power 5 level and there's a Group of 5 level. So I think he'll do great there. I think he'll be fine. This may be in the perfect place for him. Casey Thompson is a quarterback at Nebraska, who was at Texas earlier. And all around the country, guys are being named. Some of you don't really care about different positions. Usually it's the quarterbacks that get named as the starters, which is why it's the most important position in all sports. So that is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Appreciate Hesser and Kipke, of course. All right. The Leonards and Millhopper Quick Picks, which we do twice a week. Got some more prizes came in today for the Leonards at Millhopper, the next winner of that contest. Played golf with Kyle from Leonardo's this weekend. He was on our team. He played pretty good. Jeff played great. Tim played pretty good. I played like crap. I did contribute a shot and a couple of putts, but it was weird. We won, and Jeff's like, it'll look bad if we win. So let's take third. So we took third, but we had the best score. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But we did get a lot of qualifiers on the Leonards at Millhopper Quick Picks over the last couple of ones. I've got them all written down here. Nobody wants to hear them, but I've got them written down just so you know. Here's the funny thing. I wrote down this one word, Thursday. Thursday. There is a game Thursday night in the NFL, a preseason game. The teams I could not tell you. I will post it later today what it is. I have I for some reason that I knew there was something I wasn't finishing today. I had a lot going on. All right, we will post it on Facebook and on Twitter later today once I figure out what the spread is on that game. Look at that. Look at all the writing on this, Tammy, and yet the one thing I need right now is not there. But don't forget, on Friday, I'm going to make you guys work. Well, you're already having to work. You're having to look up the Thursday night game and the spread. But Friday, I'm really going to make you work. I'm going to give you double the games, 2 instead of 1, because now we'll have a college football weekend. I'll probably do Nebraska, Northwestern, and maybe there's no spread on the Duquesne, Florida State game. Did anybody even know Duquesne had a football team? I didn't. I knew they had a basketball team. So we will get to that. I will post that again. My bad. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. Adam's Ribco to go, Gator of the Week. We always love, or actually Gator of the, what day is today? Monday? Gator of the weekend. Man, this is what happens when you go away on a trip. You kind of lose track of days, and you're like, Monday, Friday, Monday. Gator of the weekend then would be Samantha Bohan from Florida's coach in soccer. She got her first win. They beat Stetson 3-0. Congratulations to them for the win. And we'll see how they do. I mean, they're obviously Stetson. They won their first 2 exhibition games. I don't think they've given up a goal yet. Now, it could be that they played the right teams. I don't think they have. Tammy would know whether they've given up any goals yet. You're going with no on that? All right. So she is our Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend. Man, I keep screwing things up here today. All right. That means it's time for Pat Dooley's story time. Because when it's Pat Dooley's story time, it's hard to screw it up because it's just me telling a story. It is brought to you, as always, by our good friends at Eastlake Pediatrics. And I'm telling you guys, Mike, we're going to get that ped fixed. It's still on pod. We're going to get it done. I've been told it will happen Friday. If it doesn't happen by Friday, you can drive up here and strangle me. But we'll get that done. Okay. It's time for Pat Dooley's story time. I'll tell you this story. I love this story about we used to stay at this Griffin Gate Marriott when we were in Lexington. It was I loved the hotel. The hotel was nice, but they had a golf course right on the property. It was a beautiful course, beautiful place to walk, obviously horse country. I used to love going to Lexington. I would say probably my favorite city to go to. I think Athens is a cooler city in terms of the vibe, but as far as the beautiful being a beautiful city, certainly I would put Lexington right there. I think it is the best city. So anyway, we'd stay there at this Griffin Gate Marriott because we would stay with the team. Now the funny thing is, until Urban Meyer kicked us out after the Tennessee game. Have I told that story? I won't tell that story. I'll tell that story another day. I did tell the story about the Hilton in Knoxville. I did tell that story. Okay. Anyway, so this is the Griffin Gate. We haven't been kicked out of there yet, but we play golf, and we would take our clubs up there and get up there early Friday and go play golf, and we had a good time. We were having a lot of fun. There were people that seemed to want to see how much I could drink on that day, and I'm not going to mention their names. But anyway, we get to this hole, which is a par 5. And Tim Andrews, Robbie's brother, who just had surgery, and he's doing really well. And by the way, shout out to Lisa Odell and Randy Batista. Lisa Odell, who I've known for years and worked over at UF, and Randy Batista, one of the great artists of this generation, photographer. She gave him her kidney. and everything went through great, and I want to shout that out. What a gesture that is. I was trying to think of the number of people I would give a kidney to, and it's a very small list. Tammy, just below the cut. Although you can have my liver because I'm not using it anymore, apparently. All right, so we're playing this round, and we're playing pretty serious, even though we're, not serious. And Tim Andrew hits the ball to the left of the hole. It's a water hazard, but it's a bulkhead. It's a really cool course, a bulkhead. So he decides, he strips down to his underwear, goes into it because the ball is resting on a PVC pipe. Now, I'm telling you, this is 6 feet down, and the ball is on a PVC pipe, but it's slightly submerged. He hits a wedge shot out of there to within 3 feet, makes the putt for birdie. It's just, I still think it is the greatest shot I've ever seen. The greatest shot I've ever seen. And that is our Pat Dooley story time, brought to you by Eastlake Pediatrics. Unfortunately, a lot of these stories have to do with us having a good time, but we'll get some good football stories for you on Friday because we'll have games on Saturday. And that brings us to the Gainesville Quarterback Club games of the weekend. Or week, I should say, because we are in the week. We'll do the weekend on the weekend. But here's the game. Atlanta at the Jets. That's the game. Atlanta at the Jets is Thursday night, okay? No, I'm sorry. Atlanta at the Jets is Monday. Boy, when you write so small with all this stuff, Atlanta at the Jets is tonight. Thursday, Green Bay at Kansas City and San Francisco at Houston. Those are preseason exhibition games, whatever you want to call them. One of those games, sorry, man, I screwed up. I'll get it. I'll get it done, and we'll give you the spread on it too. So those are the NFL games that'll be played before we get to Friday night. And then the Tour Championship, which we talked about, is on the Golf Channel both days, both Thursday and Friday. Now we'll give you the Saturday, Sunday later, 1 to 6 o'clock. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch that. I think I've covered everything, no matter how sloppily I've covered it. We've got so many great sponsors, and we got so much stuff going on, that to get to all of it, you gotta be more organized. This is not organized, okay? This is not organized. This looks like the schematics for building inside of a computer or something. But anyway, we're done for the show for today. I appreciate Tammy for doing such a great job, and for Evan for being here as well. I'm excited about this week. I'm really excited about Friday because Friday's show, it'll be one day until football games are being played. One day. And then after we do Friday's show, it'll be 1 week until we'll be able to do a pregame show. We're almost here. We've gotten through the seasons of the summer in Gainesville, FLA. And I am Pat Dooley. For Tammy, for Evan, I am deep, I'm way back, and I am out of here.